India at 75. We have completed, tomorrow we'll be completing 75 years, successful 75 years of independence. So I congratulate all of you, all citizens of India, being a citizen of India. It's a great moment for all of us. Good evening, everyone. My name is SK, and I welcome to all of you into my channel. And I'm here to talk about how India has progressed in last 75 years after British ruled for 200 years. Where we were at the time when the British left, and what is our current situation economically, politically, socially, as well as globally. So in four parts of the video, I'll be talking about our the economic part. But before I begin about economy, I think any conversation when we are celebrating India's 75th Independence Day, which will be organized, celebrated as a Amrit Mahotsav, the video or the beginning will be incomplete without talking about the sacrifices that our great leaders have done for us. Their struggle, their sacrifices, some of them have, lost their lives, spent times in jails, years in jails, and done several protesting and struggle, to come out of the British rule, and why it was required actually, why India wanted to get independence. Nobody wants to be ruled by somebody. That's a basic law of nature within a society at a broader level when you talk about a country, because you are not allowed to think about yourself when you are slave of somebody, when somebody else is ruling upon you. So that was one reason why our great leaders stood up against the British rule, and they played a great role. When you get into academic, when you get into your primary section, since your childhood, you are taught about these leaders, their stories, so all that we have gone through. So my salute and my great respect to all of them: Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, and Sardar Patel. They all played an important role. And how can I forget about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who was the founding father for Constitution. But now let's talk about what was the situation when British left. We were at 3% in terms of total world growth of 3%. So kind of I'll give you the economic growth in last 5 to 6 decades, starting from 1950 till today. But before I begin about economy, the situation of the India at that moment was very bad, I would say, because economically we were very poor. We were totally dependent on agriculture, and the agriculture was dependent on nature. If the nature will work well, rain and all that stuff, definitely it will boost the economy a little bit. But if nature goes against us, that moment I'm talking about in 1945 47 before the Green Revolution happened, our situation was very bad, and the population were bursting out. We were like, going in population was, you know, at its peak in 1980s when Indira Gandhi, you know, put everyone, brought about emergency situation. So before that, when the agriculture was not, industrialized, or there was no technology used in agriculture, so that green revolution taken place at first, along with the revolution in education also, because our literacy rate when the British left, it was around 17 to 16%. We gone from 17 to 78% now at this moment. Female literacy was 11%. So we gone from 11%. At this moment, we see female in all the sector. That's a good news for all of us. They are also helping boosting the economy. You see in the females, girls, in all health sectors, service sectors, corporate, government, private sector. So it's a wonderful news. But I was talking about the green revolution, how it started. It was needed because the India was based on agriculture. So the agriculture revolution, then the green revolution taken place. The modern technology, the agriculture methods, high yielding variety seeds, tractors, fertilizers, and pesticides, the all were introduced to boom the crop cultivation and to boom the economy. Other than this, the industrial revolution, manufacturing taken place in 1980s. There were lots of, we started the Maruti manufacturing, and so on and so forth. If I talk about since 1980 till 2020, our position was, sixth when we started in working on the revolution part in 1950. The GDP, we were at sixth position if in the world table. In 1980s, we went down to 38th position. Till 1990, it was like that only. In 2000, after 2000, we started beginning to, go ahead again, and now we are again in 2000 till 20 today on the sixth position. So it's kind of a circle that has happened for us in terms of growth, GDP, and all that. 16th and 70s, the decades of 60 and 70 was terrible situation, and we started at number six, and we are still at number six. We bounced back several times, but it did not work very well. How come China in late 90s, after 90s, when Deng Xiaoping started doing the revolution, he brought the foreign investor into his country, and he worked upon, he actually utilized the tool of population. He along with his wonderful team, worked upon try to find out the factor which could affect the economy, which could boost the economy. That was population in China, like in India. So what could that population do? He bring manufacturing companies, and he started exporting his, every sectors, from the toy till, if you talk about technology, the big things, the phones and television, everything. They started, throwing out, exporting their products after manufacturing, utilizing that high number of population into the entire world. And after getting the, go ahead from the WTO, the World Trade Organization. So China taken the advantage of the population. India somehow taken the advantage of the population in service industry as well as in manufacturing industry. But a lot of things had to be done, but unfortunately it could not be done so far. If you talk about the colleges and the universities, we have gone from 26 universities to several, more than 700 universities. Education wise, we have done wonderful, tremendous job in last 75 years. Economically, to more or less, we have done good, bad, in its kind of average. We were not able to utilize the population. But now, let me give you a wonderful, information. The billionaires, if you talk about, out of 500 billionaires in last few decades, 140 billionaires after this dot-com boom, the technological boom which happened in 2000. So they brought several billionaires in India. Around 249 out of them just came in last decade, and based on their self financially set up startups, what you talk about, and the telecom sector. Unfortunately, the government could not do well in terms of a stock investment and all that stuff. So the private sector has done wonderfully. Corporate sector, if you talk about 2000 till 2020, the IT sector, the IT boom, the BPO industries, lots of investment came into the country. Billionaires, I'm talking about, the technology was based. We see several, other foreign investors coming into it. But we also had a bad news what happened in last 75 years in terms of value of rupee, the currency. We see a depredation of the currency in last 75 years. The dollar, which was equivalent to 4 in 1947, it became 75 and now 79 at the moment. So that kind of, it's a setback for us. But if it's taken into a right direction, even now with this position of the currency, which is at the moment 79 equivalent to $1, we could still attract more investor. We could export at a cheaper rate. So that is also can be utilized as a opportunity, as a in disguise, I would say. The big revolution taken place in 1990. Yes, we all talked about this. Today's rupees condition, we all know the market is in a decline rate, but it's supposed to be corrected. Now, what we need to look two things at this moment, how India can progress further. Two things: the population, productivity. India still need to work upon this part. We have a wonderful, young, productive, dynamic people. So when the entire world is aging, India's average, age is going to be 25, 28. So we have young, productive, dynamic people. If they given a right opportunity, education, literacy, financial literacy, everything, digital literacy also, definitely we can work upon it, and we can boost our economy. That's the takeaway from this video. The demographic dividend, decline in productivity, deglobalization, what is happening. Global situation is also not very good at the moment. So the productivity, using the young population to a right extent, educate them, giving them financial literacy, digital literacy will work. And yes, so more or less the situation looks promising if the leadership in India think about these factors, productivity and population, take them into the right direction. Definitely we can still have a lot of opportunities to attract the foreign investor, to boost the economy, to correct the value of the rupee against the dollar. So again, once again, I would congratulate everyone and wish you all a very happy Independence Day. Once again, thank you so much for watching me. Take care.